Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to High Vibinant. We are so stoked to have you here for another week of awesomeness in your earbuds. So welcome to our conversation. Today, we have Mikko and Biji, who are quantum healers, and they do all kinds of fun, magical, elevating stuff for the world. So we are just going to get into them on some epic topics that are to be determined, because we're going to let the energy flow today and see what wants to come through, what wants to come up for you guys. So Mikko and Biji, welcome.
Thank you. And just so I get it right, it's to be determined if it's going to be epic, right?
It's going to be determined what it is going to be, but obviously it's going to be epic.
All right. That's already done. We already know that. It's just a given. Well, as I said before we started recording, I would love to hear from your beautiful words, how you guys got together, what you do, what your journey has looked like, for the listeners that may not know you. Just go for it.
No, you go. Just go.
Okay.
Do it.
Let me try to condense it down. So we met. We were living in West Los Angeles, Brentwood, West Los Angeles. When we met, things happened very quickly. This was over 8 years ago. Things happened very quickly. She got to know my family extremely fast. We were all in. We moved in together. I brought my 2 cats. She had her 2 kids. And we became a family, and then instantly knew we had to go on a mission. And so my father's passing was the catalyst to us selling everything, hitting the road, trusting in the universe, and figuring out where we were supposed to be and how we were going to bring this energy to the world. And so
initially we thought we were going to be doing it through technology. My background is media and technology. So we were going to share this through the means of a platform and social media and that type of thing. And so we weren't in the realm of being healers ourselves. We just through, and I don't know if you personally have had these initiations, but I feel like when you have your own business, that's an initiation. And I know that when I didn't do my energy work, if I wasn't right with my self source and my body and my frequency, then even Groupon wouldn't email me. I mean, I'd be in a vortex until I figured out how to navigate myself out. I mean, that's us becoming the alchemists. So yeah, we had no idea that the journey would lead us back to where we kind of started, is, making our own work, our own self-mastery, the most important thing that we could do. And we all know now, and I hope that everybody is landing in this reality themselves with what's happening on the planet. Our personal consciousness, the divine part of us that we all come here with, is our highest currency. So that's the new economy, is our own consciousness. So yeah, that's what's interesting about it. We didn't start out being, I'm going to be a quantum healer. Mikko, what about you?
No, we actually didn't want to be on camera. We didn't want to be healers, but the path being so, kind of, earth shaking for us as far as our work, and trusting consistently in the unknown of the path of where we were going to be, and following our hearts and following the energy and maintaining the embodiment work, maintaining the work, the body work, the breath work, the unseen work, the communication, the heart-centered communication, the mastery of the energy has been the main focus of this. The shadowy aspects of ourselves on this path, and healing through each other and allowing each other to, unfold. And things happen so quickly and on a quantum level on this path that You know, it's like from month to month, there's so many shifts and changes and growths and transformations that, you know, the path in itself becomes the pleasure, you know, becomes the unfolding of the abundance, right? The abundance is feeling good in your body. The abundance is, you know, communicating from your heart, taking ownership of all the things that you need to take ownership for, which I feel people need to do more of that. You know, raising your frequency to a place of love, right? That's what I feel, what we feel, what our mission is going to help the planet ascend, you know, through all of the darkness, or, you know, the opposing, or the, you know, the what's happening now on the planet, which is rebirthing everyone, you know, waking everybody
Wait, what
up.
do you mean? What's happening? No, what
Yeah,
are you referring
right.
to? I don't notice anything going on at all.
Actually, that is the proper answer, though. You shouldn't be watching anything and just, you know, staying in your own zone of genius, as they say.
I love it. So for people that don't know, what is it that you love to help people kind of step into or do for themselves? Or, you know, coach them to do?
So we work directly with people's conscious frequency, because that's our embodiment. And so when you're receiving conscious frequency, it bypasses the mind and it goes straight into your coding, and you resonate with something on such a deep, tangible, realistic level that you have the experience of the awakening in the areas that are maybe blind spots or patterns, or they're consistent sabotaging, you know, behaviors and things like that. So we go straight to the frequency. And frequency, the way it works, and I'm going to explain frequency like I even know, but the way that I understand the frequency to best flow is getting that snapshot of the frequency as a vibrating aspect of your consciousness since the inception of itself. So it has touched upon every single multidimensional aspect of your creation, and that's many lifetimes, and that's many existences, and many existences through different aspects of you know, the physical experience. And so when we're looking at somebody, we're not looking at this lifetime alone. We're looking at the consistent white spots and black spots on your frequency. And when you don't shift that, it means that has been consistently the frequency you've been creating with since the inception of your frequency. So that's an aspect of the quantum healing that we introduce. And we call that the tachyon energy, otherwise known as the 0 point field of all possibilities. So we actually give somebody the experience of being in that pure place of all possibilities, that sacred place of nothing, and not fear that, but understand that your sacred nothing is the grounds for everything, every possibility. And we can share that activation because Mikko and I, we have gone through these initiations. I didn't know anything about the 0 point frequency. I didn't know anything about quantum healing before we've been initiated. And so that's the frequency we share with our clients. And the clients who find us are the ones who are truly ready to have their reality shift very quickly. Because once you're watching the hologram, you're in control as the creator. And you will not create the same things once you're aware and conscious.
Right. Yes. Amen. We love that. Lindsay and I also, we work with consciousness too. So we really appreciate everyone who does this work because it's so empowering to be able to zoom out, observe without judgment, and then have new choice points, right? And you don't always get to have the choice point without the zooming out because you're not aware. So it's the awareness that brings the ability to choose again, or to choose anew, or to choose consciously, to choose with intention. And that's when you become really masterful in your creation. So yay, we love this topic. So excited.
It's like once you're aware that you have a choice or you have control or you're allowed to have control, it's really hard, if not impossible, to go back to that moment where you didn't know, right? You can't, it's like when I stopped drinking soda, I could not drink soda after that. Like once I knew that I didn't want it and how bad it was, I was like, I can't unknow this. It's just, I can't drink it anymore. And I think that, it's just a small example, but once you know something, you can't go back to unknowing it. Some things you wish you could, but I'm sure a lot of people go back and forth between like, oh, I wish I was still asleep to the world, but you can't. You just have to go forward.
Right, and that's kind of like the exciting thing of what's happening now is everybody's waking up to certain awarenesses and certain levels of awareness about certain things at different times, and and I know there's some people that are like, come on, people, hurry up, but I feel like, at the end of the day, it's a beautiful experience that we get, to test our levels of energy and awareness and eat some good food here down on earth and feel the good physical experiences and to be alive at this time.
I was going to say, like, me and Kelsey say this all the time usually on the show, which is just like, we did not play around in this lifetime. Like we came to really kind of experience some shit, didn't we? Yep. All the stuff, like good and bad and just heavy and light and dark and light. I do want to talk about just for a sec, Kels. I do want to talk about, you guys got together 8 years ago ish, right? 8 years. And you Mikko, you had children. You have children. Do you? Yes. You have children.
Biji.
Sorry. Yes.
No, people do that all the time, and they think
you have cats.
The Asian.
Mikko has cats. Biji has children. Okay. Yes. I think I switched them up. I got both. So now you guys have both. So now we're on the same page here. I got 2 cats and 3 kids. I want to talk about what you would tell somebody, I guess, who is going through this journey. We are all going through the journey, but with children, raising children while raising and transcending and ascending and all these things. What would you say to somebody? How did you navigate that? What were some like really easy parts? And maybe, I know you're still doing it, but what kind of advice do you have for asking for a friend that looks like me?
It's a great question.
How old are your babies?
So I have a newly 10-year-old, and I also have a 6-year-old, almost 6, and a 3-year-old.
Okay, so you're in the prime stages of sharing conscious embodiment with them. Yes. So our children, we have an 18-year-old son and a 16-year-old daughter.
Wow.
And we just are, we have some battle scars and war wounds from the teenage years that are final.
The pre-teenage years.
Pre-teenage years. Yep.
It's like I want to know, but I don't want to know.
But can I just share that the work that we did when our children were your age, your kids' age, it paid off during the teenage years. We confronted it all. We took away their my love was able to take away their devices and make their experience natural,
old school,
Rich.
and he did, and we took them on our journey very consciously. We said, we're leaving all our comforts behind, and they had a lot of comfort. And I said, we're gonna go and see if all this stuff that we've been working on is real. Are we down for it? We got their permission. They knew exactly. And there was a moment in the journey, the moment where the 0 point energy was initiated through me and then created through our union. And that moment was something that we, in the unknown, knew we were heading towards, that point where it was a physical nothing. We were in the middle of a place that we had to YouTube look up because we didn't know it existed. We never heard of this place before. And we were guided to this little tiny snow globe of a town that took care of us and held space for us while we went through our nothing initiation. We're going into the dead of winter with our kids at 7.
And the cats. Did you take the cats?
Yeah, and the cats. And our very first winter ever. And and nobody knew where we were. We didn't know anybody, and we decided we were going to cut off. Yeah, I know. That's the headlines I kept seeing. And we decided that's it. We were going to cut off all energy coming towards us for support. And if we are meant to do this, something will happen. Yeah, it was totally nuts. We were totally nuts. And you were so crazy to be in, like, good for it, but we did it. We cut everything off. And one day I was in my daily practice, which I call the sadhana practice. And I wake up at 3:30 in the morning and I take a nice cold shower, and I'm in my practice for hours doing all the things that I do to refine my energy. And it came through during that moment that we had to stop EBT, the food support, yeah, so we had to stop that. And we all had already quit every source of income. So our jobs and our business and everything, we just quit everything. And we're going in, and I got that message, and I'm like, okay, this means it. Like, we're in December and it's snowing outside. And this is it. We have $6 in the bank. I looked at Mikko and I said, I called him, I texted him because he was at the gym, and he said, I'll come pick you up at 3 p.m. and we'll go then and cancel it. Like, that was the only conversation we needed to have. And so we went in, and as I sat there watching the food dwindle, I just 1 minute felt like an eternity in hell. And I just didn't feel like I could do this. And when I was on the kitchen floor, just nothing, I couldn't get relief anywhere. Just being alive and being me was just too confronting. And I told my daughter and my son, I don't think I can do this. I think mommy's going to have to call grandpa and grandma and let them all know where we are, because they're freaking out anyway. And just give up. This is as far as we could go in our faith.
Yeah.
And then our children said, no. And so we got this. Like, we didn't come all this way to quit.
Wow.
We got this. So they reassured us that we could do it. And I did. I withstood it until the nothing became everything. And it was so profound. And we didn't know. We thought, oh, we could write a book and this is the end of our journey. We didn't know that that was the initiation,
right?
That we had to figure it out. And now you don't freak out and you don't panic, and it doesn't take months. It's like, oh, we have nothing. Let's alchemize it into everything. We have nothing. Wonderful. Let's alchemize it into everything until it becomes second nature embodied. And that's the journey that allows us to share this frequency with everyone who aligns themselves to working with us, because this instantaneous transformation is what we offer.
Wow. It's so interesting to hear you talk about the moment of, I would describe it as like survival mode, where you're like, okay, can't do this. And you're like literally energetically grasping for any sort of lifeline that we as humans are so used to. Like, let's call family members, let's, and then the food support and all these things, when you're in that moment of like, I don't actually know if it's going to work out. So I need to I need to fix, I need to, do all the things that are the opposite of trusting the universe, because that's what we know how to do. And I think a lot of listeners, including myself, can definitely relate to that feeling of like, you're almost there, but you just don't think you can take one more step. And what can I do to just fix it and feel safe and comfortable again? But that's not why you started, is it? You don't want to. It's not why you started.
We wanted to break the codes of receive. Like, how do we get to the place where we could receive? Everybody says the abundance is here, the abundance is now, but it's hard to feel that when you look at your bank account and there's zero or bills or debt. And it's just like, these quacks, what are they fucking talking about? It's not here for me now, but it's a frequency reality. And once you crack the code of how to be in receive mode, that's when it starts to show up in the physical reality. And those receive codes is worth everything, because that's your freedom to enjoy. That's your sacred abundance, that only heart energy money, not efforting, not working for the matrix, not dirty money, but your pure heart money for doing your soul mission purpose, right? And then the conscious love that comes to bless us all when we are doing the work. Yeah. I just feel so good about this. It's so right. Is it just me? I just
No,
feel
that
so
was
good about
that was a
new
total
reality.
channeled message that
It's
everybody
definitely
needed to
not
hear.
just you.
Mic drop.
Oh,
I'm loving
juiciness.
this. I'm like, which
so
part to
my-
dive into? Yeah, go ahead.
My one tip, to get back to your question, was for someone on this path that has kids, is to, for one, don't expect them to be into everything that it is you're doing, and don't expect them to be aware of all of their faults and working through it at a certain time, and kind of pushing that energy on them. Like, let them be whatever it is they need to be. Get out of the way, and let them unfold.
Share about Osha's grandma.
Oh, well, that's a longer story, but it's just, she's wanting me to share a story, but it's just a story that is about, this guru who grew up, and he, I guess, moved in with his grandparents, and his grandfather was very successful, and he was very into, I think it was Jaina religion, and would have all the seekers and the people from the religion come over, and he was very well known in the city they lived. And so, he wanted the boy to go to, the best schools and all the private schools and all that. And his grandmother said, why? So what? You have money, you have a home. So there's people here. Like, what is it really? What did school and doing all that stuff really give you? Let's just let him be. And so he just bead. He just, from a little kid, just swam in lakes and created and had his own awakening. And so it was always, that story was always in my mind when it came to, children, but it is difficult. It's difficult. And it's near impossible now to just let them be with the device and all that stuff.
You can't let them be.
Right.
Let them be, but don't let them
told
be.
you to let them be.
Let them be.
Let them be. You can't let them be.
You can't really let them be.
You can't let them be.
You can,
But
to an
only if you
extent.
have like a stream or a lake in the back of your house and like super nature, but then you can let them be.
Then
That's
you can
great.
let them be.
That is really good though. I like that you said everybody, including children, they have their own journey too. And unfortunately, my kids go to public school, and we have TVs, and we have everything in society is built to delay your awakening. It seems like everything. And I don't actually think, I'm not sure if this was all created because it would delay your awakening, or if it's just a happy accident that it's like everything around us is like kind of shooing us in the opposite direction, which is just like listen to what we tell you and only do what we want you to do. And here's the structure of how to be a human in whatever country you're in. But it's just so interesting. Like the story.
I have a meme I'd like to share that might.
Oh, I'd love it. Let's
it.
meme it up.
I'd like to share a meme. I saw this meme about music frequency and how during the Rockefeller age, when they were streaming music, they purposely changed the frequency of the music from heart frequency, 436, I believe.
432.
432.
And then they changed it to 528, which actually creates like a disruption. Now, why would they do that if frequency didn't create our reality?
Right.
Yeah.
They know so much more than they let us know that they know, but we know that they know. They just don't know we know that they know.
And we know it all too.
we know
We have access to the same Google.
I mean,
the same universe.
Absolutely. My husband's he's very pragmatic, but he also is very into like the hermetic, what is it? The hermetic truth or hermetic math or something. And he gets into these like conspiracies, I guess, which are just, the CIA did all of this back in like the 80s, right? And I was like, like with hypnosis and with LSD and with all these, like, they know what humans are capable of.
Well, it's hard to call it conspiracy when there's evidence.
Right.
Just
That's why, like, I don't
saying.
know. I don't know what to call it, but just the things that they don't want us to know, right? So my husband, it's so funny. He'll come up to me and be like, he'll say like something super profound, and I'm like, yes, of course. Like, we're on the same page here. But he learned it from like, a different source, and he's super into that stuff. But it's just very interesting. Like, they know, they being the powers that be, as much as like the most enlightened person, but they don't necessarily use it in the same way. They use it to kind of shuttle us around rather than sharing the truth or the knowledge, right? Which is why you're here. I love it.
Which is why you're here.
Right. And why we're here. Exactly. Let's just get our megaphones and shout it. So
that's what we're doing.
It's exactly what we're doing. So
it's a podcast.
Not really
it's a manifestation. Lindsay, you're like instantly manifesting.
I know, she's good. She's good.
I'm like a master. What else do we want to talk about? There was something that I wanted to touch on, but I can't remember. Kelsey,
I have a question. Well,
yes.
A prompt for conversation, not a question. I really want to dive into maybe how you guys have navigated, I don't know, the impatience or the frustrations around like when you are someone who expands and learns and grows very quickly, and maybe the people around you have their own timing, how to maybe be more gentle or patient with that. Because I know personally, sometimes I'll just be like, come on, guys, get on the train. You can do it. And it's not, I mean, obviously it's coming from a loving place, but also it's coming from like a frustrated place. So it's a little like convoluted in the sponsoring energy. So anything you can speak to about that? Because I'm sure a lot of people listening can relate.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes.
How is your reality changed when everybody else is on board and you get the thing that you've been impatient about? What's different in your reality?
Great question. I think a few things. So one would be feeling misunderstood would be less, right? If everyone's on the same page, I would feel less misunderstood. And another thing would be like, I guess this narrative in my mind of if we were all at a certain, let's call it level for the sake of simplicity, if we were all at a certain level together, then we could all, me included, experience more harmony, more peace, more love, more community, more connection. So really just all my personal needs projected onto everybody.
They're already ready.
Yeah, I have one really quick thing to say, and then Biji's chomping at the bit, she really wants something to say. One thing that came out as kind of like the flashing sign for me was, if you work on the need to be understood, right? And that's not your push anymore. Like, you don't need anybody else to change for you to be understood, and with that, I would also say for me, it's like over time you realize that everybody has their own path and everybody is at a different place of their own path. So the only thing you can do is, try to inspire through your own work rather than telling them what to do. And then, after you retrain your mind in that way, which I feel you could do on a quantum level, and then people will start surprising you maybe.
Okay, hold on. So you just said the most profound thing, and it's 11:22 Pacific, and Kelsey, it's 2:22 for you.
Would you look at that?
When he said that. So come on.
Hey there. We hope you're enjoying this episode so far, but if you want to listen to the whole thing, we're going to invite you over to our podcast. Either search for High Vibing It on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you guys listen to podcasts, or even better, if you want to watch the extended video version of this episode that's even longer than the actual podcast itself, head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/highvibe. Lindsay, Tell them what's awesome about the Patreon.
Patreon is where we have all of our extended episodes. As Kelsey said, we have it on video, so you can actually see the things that we're talking about. Sometimes we have visual aids, and it's nice to know what we're talking about. We also have hangouts that we do sometimes that are exclusive to Patreon people. And you can get started with all of this and bonus content and everything that we have only for the Patreon people for as little as $3. I think it's $3.33 a month. And that's it. And you guys can get all the benefits and all access to everything that we put in there. Really cool.
It's really cool, really fun, super easy to join. And you guys don't even have to do that to finish this episode. If you're like, screw it, I don't want to pay any money, I just want to hear the rest of this episode, go to our podcast, High Vibing It, search for it wherever you listen. It's totally free. Either way, enjoy the rest of the show wherever you choose to enjoy it. And we will see you guys next week because we do a new one every week. Adios.
Bye.